Let's make history.
G'day, ZiggyD here with another early look at Path of Exile's 3.3.0 Incursion League. In this video I'll be walking you through a set of incursions and a Temple of Atzoatl run, showing the core League mechanic for 3.3. I won't be showing off the final boss however, so no spoilers there. Just a quick note that this is recorded from a build that is more than 3 weeks from release, and a lot of things like rewards and some specific mechanics are still being tested and finalised. So things that you see in this sort of preview content are naturally subject to change. In the Incursion League, you'll encounter Alva Vaal in every single zone after the Mud Flats. When you talk to her, she'll offer you the opportunity to go back in time to a specific room within the lost Temple of Atzoatl. These trips through time are called the Incursions. By doing enough incursions, you'll help Alva locate the temple so that you can loot it in the present day. Inside of an incursion, you have a few goals: kill an architect, open doors, and kill Vaal monsters for loot and XP. You have a limited time in which to do these things before you'll be pulled back to the present. However, you can extend this timer with the blood of the Vaal. Killing monsters and damaging an architect will extend the timer. You don't need to worry about looting during the timed incursion, because at the end, all of the loot that you would have gotten from the monsters inside of the incursion is spilled out with you through the portal. When you first speak to Alva, she'll show you the room you'll be entering via the incursion, and you can get a few other important details. Firstly, each room has 2 architects inside of it. On this map you can see what each one will do. Killing one architect allows the other one to survive, and they'll build the room the way they want to, either changing it to suit their vision or upgrading their current room further. The up arrow icon means that killing an architect will result in an upgrade to the current room, and the circle of arrows icon means that killing that architect will result in a room change. As you build the temple, you'll notice there's basic rooms without a tier, and then tier 1, 2, and 3 versions of each of the rooms the architects can build. In my first incursion here, this room is currently tier 0, the Tombs, which is just a vanilla room with nothing special inside of it. Killing one architect will change it to a tier 1 gem cutter's workshop, which can contain quality gems, and killing the other architect will upgrade it to the Shrine of Empowerment. In this case, I decided to go for the Shrine of Empowerment, which provides a strong bonus when it reaches tier 3. It will empower the rooms around it, increasing their tier by 1 up to the maximum of 3. This can be a very powerful effect if it's empowering other valuable rooms. The other key thing you can learn from this map is how you can begin to connect the rooms of the temple together. Inside of the incursions, monsters can drop keys called the Stone of Passage, which you can use to unlock a door. On Alva's temple map you can see red circles indicating doors that are currently locked, and green ones that are open. Mousing over them reveals which room they'll connect to if opened. So here's the approach I recommend for doing your incursions. Decide which architect you want to kill, and which door is most important for you to open. Run straight to the architect, only killing monsters in your way, and kill the architect as quickly as possible. Getting your room upgrades is generally going to be the highest priority, and damaging the architect provides a lot of extra time to search for a key. After the architect is dead, work your way towards the door you want to open, killing as many monsters as you can along the way until you locate a key. Then, if you have any time left over, kill some more monsters and locate another key and door if you can. Most of the time I was reliably able to kill an architect and open one door this way, which is a solid way to build a temple. In my second incursion here, you can see there is a room currently not connected. The door for it is right next to the architect I want to kill to upgrade the room, so my plan of action is clear. This third incursion is into another tier 0 room, and I have the choice of either the sparring room or the Splinter Research Lab. I know the reward for Splinter Research Lab is some juicy breach themed bonuses, so I opt for that one. There's a lot of decisions you get to make in terms of building your temple. Of course, you want to open as many doors as possible to connect rooms and make your temple run as smooth as possible. But which rooms you decide to go for are important. There are a few different reward structures for rooms in the Temple of Atzoatl. Some rooms provide a scaling reward structure, with a modest reward at tier 1, a better reward at tier 2, and a large reward at tier 3. The Splinter Research Lab is a good example of this mechanic. At tier 1 it has chests inside of it with breach splinters. At tier 2 I believe it has a single breach, and at tier 3 you'll find a room with 3 breaches inside of it. You'll find a lot of rooms like this that give things like jewelry, weapons and armor, skill gems, and currency. The next type of room you'll encounter has a seemingly more negative effect, like buffing the monsters in the temple or adding poisonous plants everywhere. However, at tier 3, these rooms will provide a large reward, such as a league-specific unique, or perhaps a corrupting tempest throughout the temple. Because you need to get to tier 3 to realise the reward of these rooms, they're a bit of a risk. It's a good idea to only go for these types of rooms in your early incursions, because you will have more chances to return to that room and upgrade it again. For example, it's not a good idea to start the Pools of Restoration room in your 9th incursion, because you'll give monsters regeneration and you won't have many chances to complete the upgrades all the way to tier 3. The final category of room is one that upgrades the boss at the end of the temple. As I've not fought the boss yet, I don't know too much about what these do specifically, but they make the end boss more difficult in some way, whilst increasing or adding to its rewards when you kill it. Whether you go for these rooms will come down to how confident you feel against the boss. In hardcore, for example, you might be a bit more hesitant to give the boss multiple upgrade rooms, even if the reward is rather tempting. So you'll continue running incursions as you meet Alva until you've completed the full set of 11. Each time you'll be deciding whether you want to upgrade or swap to a different room, and you'll be trying to unlock doors to connect rooms or make the temple nicer to run overall. In my 8th incursion, for example, I have possibly my last opportunity to open the door to the Apex, which contains the final boss. There's a chance I could get an incursion into the antechamber to the left in one of my last few incursions, but the chance seems slim, so I memorize the correct door and prioritize unlocking it. As mentioned earlier, even in this scenario, it's still better for me to kill the Architect first because of the time boost that it gives me, and I'm able to successfully connect to the Apex. You'll nearly always have an opportunity to connect to the Apex and fight the final boss, but you will have to successfully find the key and use it to do so. Because of the random nature of the incursions, this may only be a single chance, or in some rare circumstances you might miss out entirely. However, the temple itself has high reward potential, so even a temple without a boss may still be worth it if you manage to secure a couple decent tier 3 rooms. Once you've completed your final incursion, you can immediately talk to Alva and she'll offer you the chance to raid the full temple in the present day. You can also invite Alva to your hideout and do it from there. When you enter one of the portals, you'll begin your temple run in the jungle outside of it. Take this opportunity to check what zone modifiers are present and the level of the monsters with the overlay map. You can see that I have a resistance penalty and will be facing faster, tougher monsters. These mods are created as a side effect of some of the rooms that we've chosen to upgrade. Once inside of the temple, you can check your current location with the temple map. In my run that I did here, I full cleared the temple just so that I could check out all of the rooms and see what they do. But I think that as players, once we've learned what these rooms do, we'll mostly use this map to plan a route that hits the most valuable rooms and then finishes at the boss. Some rooms don't have anything special in them directly, such as a tier 1 poison garden, and as such can be skipped entirely. It's good that we have this option because the temple is actually a massive zone, the largest we have in Path of Exile currently by far. Though that said, the temple does have a lot of monsters in it and they can drop maps. So you might opt to be more thorough in clearing high level temples for extra loot and map drops. Make your way through the temple clearing or searching high value rooms. I'll take you through a few of the rooms you should keep an eye out for. The Breach set of rooms is worth it at any tier because at tier 1 it drops splinters, and at tier 3 you'll have 3 breaches like in my room here. The jewelry themed room has some potential. It contains chests that drop jewelry, obviously, and jewels. Although you'll see a lot of white and magic ones dropping out of the chests in here, you could easily end up with half an inventory of high level rare jewelry in a tier 3. Another interesting point is that this room may be a possible source of the new Vaal modifiers that have been teased. It'll be worth keeping an eye on. The Armory set of rooms drops basic gear, which is not very exciting in its own, but it could be worth checking if its chests also drop these Vaal modifiers, such as this mini lightning coil helmet modifier that has been teased. Also, if your temple has a corrupting tempest, then these could be a bit of a goldmine for corrupted gear and potentially some 6-links. The warehouses are a little bit more interesting. It's got a bunch of chests in it that drop mixed loot seemingly, but I had 2 of these chests give me a bunch of quality gems. Coincidentally, as we saw a little bit earlier, there is also a gem cutter's room that has a bunch of quality gems in it. The Surveyor's Study and its upgrades have tables full of maps. I had a terrible atlas on this testing character with only a few maps unlocked, but it looked good even despite that. Keep in mind that this is only a tier 1 cartographer room here, and I got a bunch of maps from these 2 tables. One room you're definitely going to want to go to each time is the treasury themed rooms. The tier 3 version you can see here is called Wealth of the Vaal. And plundering it was very, very, very worthwhile, as you can see. Aside from that, make sure to check out which tier 3 rooms have bonus rewards, because some of them don't do much at tier 1 and 2, but will give specific bonuses once fully upgraded. We know, for example, already that there is a poison themed unique from the tier 3 version of the Poisonous Plant room. As I mentioned, I'm not going to be spoiling the boss in this video. I haven't even seen it myself personally, aside from that little teaser clip in the trailer. So we'll have to wait for launch to see what that fight is like and what sort of rewards we can get from it. Since I've seen at least several different rooms that do something to the boss and add some sort of bonuses, I expect there'll be quite a fair bit of interesting loot we could potentially get from it. Finally, keep in mind that there is still a few weeks of polish to go on top of what you've seen in this preview, and things may change a little bit, but so far to me, it looks like Incursions and the Temple of Atzoatl are shaping up to be a really exciting addition to the game. I personally love that we'll be able to run one of these every hour or so if we're pushing for it, and that it's essentially a build your own loot run mechanic. Anyway, if you guys have any questions about any of the mechanics I've talked about in this video, feel free to ask in the comments below. That's it for now, I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.